talk about path to graduation and specifically how to make up credits if your child is needing to make up some credits towards that path to graduation. And we have our vision statement here, which is what we at Oberfeld all believe in, that all students will graduate with critical and creative thinking skills, as well as the resilience to succeed in college and careers. So our goal is to have our students graduate ready for college and their future careers. Our agenda for this evening, we're going to do a little review of our previous presentations. This is actually our 6th presentation of the year and our final one. So we're going to review some of the slides we presented at some of the previous presentations. And then we'll talk about how we can work together and what are the options for graduation and earning, making up credits. And then at the end, we'll have some time for questions and answers. But if you have a question during the presentation, you could either type it in the chat, or if there's a pause and we ask for questions, ask it aloud. But we do want to honor your questions and make sure that you are understanding some of the processes and what's available for our students. So just a quick review, or maybe for some of you, this is the first time you've seen this. There's basically two things that we look at when we're scheduling students. Number one is that students are meeting the requirements for graduation. So the column here in the middle, in the purple, are the requirements for graduation. Grades received must be a D or higher. That is how your student will earn the credits, and we'll talk about that in a couple of slides. And then on the left are the different subject areas. So in each of the subject areas, there are specific credits due. So for example, in social science, your student will need 30 credits for graduation. English is the most important because it requires all 4 years, 40 credits to be passed. And that's where a lot of our kids get into trouble, is they'll fall behind in English, and then it's constantly trying to make up to catch up in English. For math, they have to have at least a minimum of 20 credits in 2 different levels of math. So for example, math 1, math 2, or math 2, math 3, or math 3, math analysis.
Well, let's keep saying it for I don't know how long. Did you take a shower?
For lab sciences, 20 credits, and that's 10 credits in a biological science and 10 credits in a physical science. For E and F, World Language and Visual Performing Arts, for graduation purposes, these are lumped together, and so it can be 10 credits of either World Language or 10 credits of a Visual Performing Arts. For the rest of the credits, 80 credits are elective credits, and those can be academy electives or electives like psychology or sociology, or any of the other electives that we have on top of the minimum requirements. And then 20 credits of physical education, that is to meet the state standard for PE. So total credits needed are 220 credits. The third column is the A to G requirements. These are the requirements for students to complete to be eligible to apply to 4-year university or colleges. And they are similar to those graduation requirements. Whoops, I'm sorry, I went a slide ahead, my apologies. With one exception, the grades have to be C or higher. So a D grade will not meet the college requirement, and students would have to repeat the course in order to be eligible for college. So 20 for social science, it's actually a little less. English is the same. Math is more, 30 credits at least, 40 is recommended. Pretty much every student we have that's going to a four-year college has at least 4 years of math. Some students have 5. Lab sciences, at least 20, 30 is recommended. Again, for students that are interested in majors that are in the STEM field, you would probably need to have all 4 years of science. And then this is a big difference. The world language is a separate category. It has to be 2 years of the same language. So Spanish 1, Spanish 2, French 1, French 2, or at our school, we offer Spanish for heritage speakers, and that actually covers 3 years of language for the colleges. So some of our students will only have to take 1 year of Spanish for heritage speakers. And then they have to also have the 10 credits of a visual or performing arts. So these could be art or photography or one of our music classes, but they have to have both in that category, and 10 credits of electives is an advanced college elective class. Let me just double check the chat and see if there's any questions about that.
I'll review the chat for you, Ms. Bonasano. There aren't any questions now.
Okay, Ms. Chavez is gonna answer questions on the chat. You gonna just reply back to people?
Yeah, I'll reply back, and if they're general questions, I'll go ahead and ask you those.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, and then here's just an example of what students would take if they're trying to graduate and meet the A to G requirements. When students start in 9th grade, they would be in English 1 or English 1A. Some students will be in Math 1, some might be in a higher math. Students will be in biology for science. Some students will start their world language or their art or elective class. And then our students usually have ethnic studies and physical education. So in their 9th grade year, they're already covering 5 of their A to G sections for most students. In 10th grade, they continue on world history or AP human geography, or AP European history for some students, English 2 or 2A, continuing on with their math level. For science, students move to chemistry. If they had already started their world language, we would have them take their 2nd year. World languages are usually taken consecutive years. So once the student starts it, we want them to take it in the 2nd year. Some students will be in academies that require an academy-specific elective, and they might take that. And some students will also be having PE in 10th grade to cover the 2nd year of PE. For 11th grade, they move on to US history, English 3 or advanced placement English, Math 3 or higher, physics for science, another year of world language for some students, an academy-specific course for some students, or an art or an elective class for some students. And then in their senior year, they will have government and economics, English 4 or advanced placement English. Students may be moving on to calculus for math, or maybe advanced placement statistics, or we have computer science available. Usually our students at this point are looking at an AP science, or we have some other science electives that are available. They might take a 4th year of language, an AP language class. And again, they might have an academy specific course or still need their art or elective. So all of our students are capable of completing the A to G requirements in the 4 years, as long as they're passing their classes with the C's or higher, and earning the credits that they need. Whoops, I am sorry. Okay. The next slide is just to kind of explain the credits that the students earn each year. And we have them by each individual year. So starting in 9th grade, students earn 5 credits each semester course that they pass with a D or higher. So 5 credits for the first semester, 5 credits for the second semester. So by the end of the year, students should have attempted and completed 10 credits of English, 10 credits of math, 10 credits of science. Some of our students will have a language in their first year, so 10 credits of language. Or they might have a different elective class, so it might be here or it might be in the F category. They will have 10 credits of ethnic studies and they will have PE. So for most of our freshmen, then they would have 60 credits. Oops, I jumped again, sorry. My computer is super sensitive, I'm sorry. So 60 credits for ninth graders. Some ninth graders will end their freshman year with 70 credits because they came to CSI and earned credits. Some students took a 7th period elective if students chose band or leadership. They were able to take a 7th period elective. So some students might have more than 60 credits, but 60 is what we're hoping for at the end of 9th grade. In 10th grade, they will pick up another 10 in social science with world history. They will have English 2, so now they should have 20 credits of English, math for another 20, second year of science, which we said would be chemistry, so 20 in science. For some students, their second year in a language for 20 credits. And then some of our students will be moving into academies that require electives, so 10 for that, and another 10 maybe for PE. So again, students picking up 60, maybe 70 more credits, but our goal is to have them be at 120 credits by the end of their second year, their 10th grade year. For junior year, again, another 10 in social science. English 3 puts them at 30. Another year of math puts them at 30. Another year of science puts them at 30. No more world language unless they really want to have that third year. But now this student is taking their visual performing arts class. They're taking photo. So that's 10, and then they have their academy elective. So again, we're hoping to have another 60 credits, and students by the end of their junior year would have 180 credits. Okay, and then lastly, the senior year, and again, students will have econ and government, so that is their total 30 credits for social science. ERWC, which is our 4th year of English, so 40 credits. Another year of math, 40 credits in math. Another year of science, 40 credits in science. And then depending on what their program is, maybe an academy elective, for example, AVID 4 or Multimedia 3, or maybe they take an elective like sociology. So these students would only need to take 5 classes if they started the year with 180 credits. They are allowed to take more if they want, but this student would end up with 230 credits and would meet the requirements for graduation, as well as complete all the requirements for the A to G. Okay, so that's kind of showing at each year what level of credits students should have. Okay, and then once they are completed with high school, they've graduated from high school, these are some of the options that they will have. They could look at a vocational program or choose to go into the military. A lot of our students choose to go to community college to start. Many of our students are going to CSUs. We just confirmed today we have 30 students going to San Jose State next year. That's super exciting. And to UC campuses, University of California, we've probably got another 30 or 40 going there. And then some of our students choose private colleges. We've got some students looking at Stanford and some other smaller private colleges. So once they've reached their senior year, the counselors meet with students. We work on where they want to apply. We help them with those applications. and later help them with the choices for where they're going to ultimately select to go once they have graduated from high school. But a lot of options for students with their high school diploma. Financial aid is available for students, and we did a whole presentation about it. This is a very brief slide, but basically financial aid comes from many different sources, some from the United States government, from the federal government, such as Pell Grants, work study, some loan programs. Some comes from the state programs, which is the Cal Grant program. Institutional is money that's given to students from the specific college. And some colleges are very generous and give really nice grants to students. And then private could be like scholarship money or a private loan that the family borrows. So lots of different places that financial aid can come from. The types of financial aid, merit-based, would be based on grades, GPA, or some other skills that the students have. Maybe they're a really good artist and they show a really great portfolio. Need-based is based on income and how many people a family is trying to support, not only just support, but might have in college in a year. And then non-need based is just money that's given by colleges to students they think should have money. And it's not based necessarily on family income, but just based on the potential that the colleges see within that student to be successful at their school. So plenty of different opportunities. Each year in the spring, we do a big presentation about financial aid. If you haven't been to one of those, watch for that next year. It's usually in March, and we go over all the kind of aspects of financial aid. Students don't apply for financial aid until their senior year, but it's good for you to start understanding the process and understanding what's available for you and your student. So that was a lot in a little slide. And then again, what is it that colleges are looking for when they're looking for a college prep student that is prepared for college and that they would consider a good candidate? Maintains a high GPA, right? Our most successful students in being accepted to many college options are students that can keep above a 3.0. That allows them to apply to a multitude of colleges, and they tend to have many acceptances, giving you lots of options for where they might attend. Also that they go beyond the A to G requirements. So if the A to G requirement is that they're just taking 2 years of a language other than English, they go beyond that and take a 3rd or 4th year, or they're taking a 3rd or 4th year of science class. And then the next one is one that's really been difficult, obviously, with pandemic, but is committed to the extracurricular, community service work, et cetera. So what we're seeing is a lot more emphasis put on what students are doing outside of the classroom. So are they doing some extracurricular activities like clubs or church or other Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? Extracurricular community service, are they working to support their community in some way? Working at a food pantry, working at a library, volunteering at a local library. Lots of different opportunities, and we're going to show you some of that in a little bit. Are they working? Some of our students have to work. We understand that, and the colleges understand that as well. Or they have to be home taking care of their younger brothers and sisters while their parents are working. So all of those are part of the college application process. The next one, the ACT, SAT tests, right now, those are kind of on hold. Most of the colleges next year are not expecting students to have those tests, but depending on what grade your child is in, maybe in the future that might be important. or not, because we think some schools are starting to do away with those tests as admission components. And then for students that have to write a personal statement, excuse me, that they write a thoughtful personal statement, that it's not something they just scribble at the last minute. And a lot of our English teachers help students with those during their junior year, their 11th grade year. So, you know, colleges are looking for students that excel, that go beyond just the basic levels, and have a lot to offer that university. And then some summer program highlights, and there's a lot on this slide, and we will be sharing this with you guys in the students' Google Classrooms. But there's lots of different opportunities for students to improve themselves academically or just personally through some summer activities. And these are some of the ones that we felt were really good ones for students to work at. Kaiser Permanente has a summer program that's excellent. Global Glimpse should be taking some new students, not for this summer, but for next summer. We have leadership at our school, and that's a great way to get some extracurricular leadership activity. A few others there, working at Prush Park down the road from Overfeld, Bank of America. And at the very end there, the Evergreen Valley Math summer courses. And Ms. Chavez is going to talk a little bit about that, I think, on one of the other slides. But there are lots of opportunities for students to do enrichment over the summer. And right now, a lot of them are going to be just virtual, so not in person. Some things are moving back to in person for the fall, but most of these are probably going to be virtual for this summer. And I think I'm done. So I think, Ms. Chavez, are you ready to?
Yes, I am ready. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ms. Chavez. I'm one of the counselors at Overfeld. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the second phase of this presentation. Everything that Ms. Montesano talked about was kind of a summary of all of the other presentations that we had this year. We had a series of 6 presentations. So that was presentation 1 through 5. This is kind of like the meat of this presentation that we have today, which is looking at credit recovery and options for students to be able to graduate. So the very first thing that we want to say is that, you know, we know that students struggle in high school every year, right? This year especially has been a big struggle for a lot of our students. So we want to make sure to provide you all the information you need to help your students succeed, whether that's, you know, for students that are missing a few credits or students that are missing a lot of credits. So so we want to make sure students, you know, finish everything in a timely manner. So a few options are summer school, adult education, cyber high, 5th-year school, alternative ed, and other non-traditional options. So we actually have one slide for each one of these options here. So can you move on to the next one, Ms.?
I can, yes.
So the first one, and probably the most popular one, is our summer school. We have summer school every year. We're going to offer summer school this year. We're really happy to say that we're going to offer summer school in person this year. And part of the reason why we're offering it in person is like the structure that it's going to be in. So students do have to fill out a Google form, like a Google form. That's the actual application. We'll add it to the chat box in a little bit. There's no guarantee that the course is going to be offered or that there is going to be space. So we just say apply as soon as possible. The dates are June 21st through July 23rd, Monday through Friday. And students have, so the reason why they're going to be in person is because it's going to be an in-person and asynchronous learning experience for students. So it is going to be all day. Students are expected to work during all day from 8:30 to 2:30. However, they will be expected to come in person for half of the day. So if a student chooses a morning session, they're expected to be here in person from 8:30 to 11, and then work on the class at home from 12 to 2:30. If a student chooses an afternoon session, they're expected to do work for the class from 8:30 to 11 and come in person from 12 to 12:30. So the students have the option to choose that in the application. I actually just shared this presentation with all of you in the chat box. So if you want to look at the application right now, you can go to this presentation, go on the slide, and then if you click on here on the green where it says Summer School Application 2021, that will take you to the form. But the form is also on School Loop. It's also on our website. It's also on our Instagram page, so you can see it in many places. Next slide. Before I continue, the form also has the options of all the classes that students will be offered. So there's a big range of classes, and you can see them in the form. The next option, this is kind of a more for credits, for credit enrichment. So this is if a student wants to advance specifically in math classes or just take the next class. So we have partnered with Evergreen Valley College to offer math classes in math analysis, statistics, calculus, AB, and calculus BC. We actually just finished the presentation about an hour ago for this opportunity, but I'm going to go ahead and email out the presentation and all the information that students need if they want to take this class. It's similar dates to Overfelt's. However, it is all on Zoom. So this one is not in person, it's all on Zoom, and students will get 10 credits, so a full year of high school credit for this summer school class. You can click on the links here for the interest form and also for the presentation that I just reviewed with students in the previous meeting, or you can just wait for me to email that information out. Next slide. So now for adult education. When we talk about adult education, we're talking about this for students that maybe they're missing a lot more credits than what we would want them to be missing, right? So it would look very difficult for them to be able to finish at Overfelt within 4 years. So oh, I'm sorry, no, I was talking about alternative education. I'm sorry. This is adult education. So adult education is if the student is missing some courses, they typically stay at Overfelt as seniors to finish. However, they have to take a few additional classes to make it to 220. One of the options for this is adult education. It's a class that they take in the evening. So let's say the student needs an extra 5 credits of English. They would enroll on it for that entire semester. They could take it 1 day a week. So maybe it's every Monday. Typically it's from 6 to 9 p.m. They have to be in the class every day. I believe this year was on Zoom. Next year, maybe it'll be in person, but it's every single Monday at that time. And if they are able to finish the course and complete all the hours necessary and complete the work, then they'll get the 5 credits. So this is mostly for seniors. Sometimes juniors are allowed, but mostly for seniors. And you definitely want to book an appointment with your counselor if you want more information about this. You can continue. Okay, so this is another option for students, typically juniors and seniors do this option, and it's again to recover credits. So this is the Cyber High program. Cyber High is online classes that students can enroll in. So this year, there were 2 options for students. They can either enroll in this class during 7th period or take it on Wednesdays, the Wednesdays that like typically students were out, they didn't have class. If you were in Cyber High, you had class for about an hour. And the good thing about this program is that students can take multiple classes. They don't take multiple classes at the same time. They have to do 1 class at a time. But once they finish that class, they can take another class. So really students can make up a lot of credits with this option, and it's self-paced. So the entire class is online. There is 1 teacher that supervises all students. But that teacher is not necessarily a teacher for that subject area. It's just 1 teacher. So really the students are kind of teaching themselves, and she'll be able to support, but there's no guarantee that she'll know the content. And it's self-paced, so students can work on it at any time during the day, during the nighttime, in the weekends. A lot of students take advantage of the breaks. Sometimes we have boot camps where during winter break or Christmas break, we'll come in for a few days and students can work just on their cyber hard course. Typically, the courses offered are English, math, social studies, and then other elective courses that students can take. Math is one of them as well. Science is not offered here, unfortunately. So the next option is fifth year. So this is one for students that maybe are a year behind and they need that additional year. Maybe they're a semester behind and they need an additional semester. Students can request to be fifth year students at Overflow. Every year we have a handful of fifth year students that just say, you know what, I just need this extra year and I want to make sure to finish on time. So you need to schedule a meeting with Ms. Moody, our associate principal, to be approved. The student would be given 5 or 6 credits, or sorry, 5 or 6 periods, depending on how many credits they need to graduate. And as I mentioned earlier, you can finish in one semester. If you only need like 30 credits, then those are easy to complete in one semester. If you need 60 credits, then you do need the entire year. And then students will be able to participate in the graduation ceremony for that year. So once they finish, they could go to that ceremony. So this is what I was talking about earlier, the alternative programs. So typically students that are like really, really far behind would choose this route. And this is because these programs are designed to help students try to recover credits faster. So there are several programs that are through our district that students can attend in 11th and 12th grade if they have those the low credits. These schools are Apollo, Pegasus, and Foothill. These schools offer alternative schedules and they have like hybrid learning models. So students typically attend for less hours and a lot of the time they're expected to do work at home. So every school has a different style. I would say contact your counselor, you can contact that school directly if you have more questions. You can click on the little green text that says alternative schools and it'll give you more options or more information. And then again, book an appointment with the counselor if you think this is a good option for you. The last option that we want to talk about is different programs that are offered outside of our district. So, you know, there's no wrong or right path for graduation for students. Everyone has a different journey. We know this, everyone has different paths. Sometimes the high school like model doesn't really work for students. I can say that like in my family, I have siblings that this model did not work for, you know, so it just depends on the person, right? So there are specific programs that are tailored to students that don't really enjoy the model that we have at Overflow or the traditional high school. So these are some options for students. There's a California Virtual Academy, which is just like that. It's a virtual school. There's California High School Proficiency Exam. So students are able to get an exam or take an exam to be able to show that they know their material and they can get a, I believe with that, I think you get the GED, I think. There's an Opportunity Youth Academy. This is it's kind of like homeschool where a lot of the work you do at home, I think you have to go there once a week to check with the coordinator or the teacher, and then you do your work there at home mostly. And then there's a San Jose Conservation Corps and the San Jose Job Corps. Most of these are models where students work and then they also, so this for specific trade programs, and they also are going to school to finish the high school diploma. You can click on the green text if you want to go to the flyer with more information. There's something that I missed here, Ms. Montesano, that you would like to share for those programs?
No, just that they really are good programs for students that are struggling in a regular high school model. And, you know, for us, all that matters is these kids get their diplomas. So for some students, those alternative schools or those alternative programs are really the answer for them to be able to get their diploma. And the counselors at Overfelt can help you with those registration applications if you need help, but you would just need to make an appointment with your child's counselor to review those.
Yeah. Someone asked about summer school. So student failed English 1 first, did summer school for it, but only attended second semester, and failed first semester. So in the application, students have the option of choosing whether they want to take the first semester of the class, the second semester of the class, or the full year of the class. So you can choose that. As far as taking the class in the AM and a class in the PM, that's not how the model works. So the way that summer school is going to work is that every class is the entire day. So students can only take one class, and they choose that to attend in person for the AM section of the class or the PM section of the class. So the student's going to have, the teacher's going to have their 30 students that they typically have, but they'll have 15 in the morning and 15 in the afternoon. And the student is working at school or at home, depending on what time they're going to be in person.
Yeah, but you answered that, the question the person is asking, it really has to do with semesters, not AM, PM. So this student needs first semester English 1. Oh, no, they couldn't do both.
Yeah. And
You know
just so
what?
you know, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, possibly depending on what happens with Cyber High. So I would say for that student to put English 1 as your first choice, English 2 as your second choice, because it allows you to put 2 choices, and then maybe make an appointment with your student's counselor so they are aware of what's happening, and we can see if we can figure that out for your student.
Yeah.
And then another question about the virtual. When we first submitted the summer school application for people to pick, we thought there would be some virtual options, and then the district came out and said no. So the counselors were going to contact the students who had originally put virtual, and then we could update the form. But if you would like, you could have your child redo the form. What we would look at is the most recent date. So if we saw the virtual one was done, in April, and now there's a new one done in May, we would use the May one for placing the student in summer school.
We also had someone send a direct message regarding the Evergreen Valley College math courses.
Okay.
So for those courses, if a student wants to take math analysis at Evergreen, they do need to have Math 3 at Overfelt this year. If they want AP calculus or statistics, they need to have math analysis at Overfelt this year. Will be help after school for tutorial in school or home.
Okay. I think, do you have some other slides on here, Ms. Chavez? Oh yeah.
There are a few more.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a good segue. If there are any specific questions, like detailed questions for students in their specific situation, please take a screenshot of this or take a picture of this slide. These is all the contact information for the counselors. Email is always fastest, but you can book an appointment or you can call. If you call, please do leave a voicemail so that we know who to call back. Ms. Dora, I'm not sure what your question is there.
If you're talking about in summer school, I'm not sure that there's going to be specific tutorial for summer school. That's a good question. During the school year, we have tutorial with our city year members, but they don't work in the summer.
Yeah.
So that might be something we'd have to look into.
Yeah, I'm sure you can always contact the student's teacher to ask for additional support, and they might be able to arrange something with you.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
You can go to the next slide.
Okay, here we go.
So all of the options that we talked about today, we do have a slide. We do have a website, and in the website, there's under student resources, there's the option for alternative education opportunities, and most of the programs that we talked about today are listed there. So you can always go and check that out. Yeah, there are other things there. We also have our Instagram page.
Sorry.
You can continue. Just so you know, I'm also going to post this presentation and this recording to this website as well if you go under parent resources. And we're on.
I have a question.
Oh,
Yes, how can we help you?
Yes, my question is, if they need help after like the classes in the morning, who do we have to go to for help for the students after the class in the morning? Do they have it for the summer school?
Yeah, they would have to talk to the teacher of that class because the teacher will still be working. They'll be teaching the afternoon session. And that's kind of a good question because we've never done this kind of model before. There will be an hour
Because
lunch.
Because I think there has to be support for someone, because if the teacher is busy the whole day, if they have a question, I mean, who do they have to ask?
That's a really good question.
I think honestly right now, everything's kind of in the planning stages. So I'm sure like this question is going to be posed to our administrators and we may have a fix for you. But I think the best advice we can give you right now is to let the student know that they need to have good communication with their teachers. Because there's also a lunch period that may be important, right?
But sometimes, like you're saying, the teachers will be busy in the morning and the afternoon. There will be no. I think that you have to guys plan it right now. That way, then when they need it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have that conversation with our administrators, and we will most likely send communication out to parents and students to let during summer school to let them know what kind of support that will be provided to them. So at this point, we don't have like a direct answer for you, but we know that's something that will come up. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very good question and a good thing for us to look into. Yeah. All right. Is this our last slide, Ms. Giles?
Yeah, this is pretty much it. So we are on Instagram. Feel free to follow us. We post a lot of information for our students about different, just a lot. We post a lot, but it's really, really cool and important information. And we hope that you can follow us so that you can stay up to date with us. On the Instagram, we also have a link in our bio to go to our contact page and book appointments with the counselors and see our numbers and our emails. So we have many ways for parents to contact us. And I know sometimes maybe parents might say, hey, I called the counselor and I don't get an answer. I will say just be persistent. Don't be afraid to call multiple times. We try our best to get back to parents as soon as possible. Sometimes, time gets away from us. So just email, contact, or book an appointment, and we'll try our best to get back to you in a timely manner. And you can go to the last slide now, Ms.
Okay. I was just going to say that, on our counseling website, schedule a counseling meeting is there at the bottom on the left. Well, it's not really the bottom, it's kind of the middle of the page, but if you wanted to schedule a meeting with us, that's where you would go. I know the links to the You Can Book Me were on that other page as well, but it is here on our counseling page as well. And now I'll go to the last slide that says thank you.
Yeah, I'm adding our counseling contact page to the chat box.
Oh, nice.
I'm also going to add our summer school application to the chat box. And we just want to let you know, like Ms. Manasano said, thank you guys so much for being here. We had really good attendance today, so we're really happy to give you guys this information. Please spread the word and let parents know that this presentation will be available on our website, and we're most likely going to send it through School Loop as well. And we want to thank you so much for coming, and we'll stick around in case you guys have questions. If you want to ask in the chat box or unmute yourself, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to add the presentation in the chat. Sorry, I'm going to add the summer school application to the chat.
That's okay. So if anybody has any questions, you could type them in the chat, or if you want to ask us out loud, we are going to stay on for a little bit to answer questions for you.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, you are free to head out. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Laura. I'm gonna.
Hi, I have a quick question. I was kind of late to the meeting, so I didn't really know if you guys were talking about the freshmen. How would we know if our child is summer school, if he did great on his first semester, so we can apply for summer school for the second? I mean, I don't know how do we apply earlier, or do we wait for the grades to come in?
For the second semester grades, that would be late. That would be like really late to apply. So I would say, are you connected on your student's school loop account?
Yes, I am, but he's doing great, but
Okay.
I don't know should I just apply and wait until you guys decide if he really needs to take it, or just hang in there?
It sounds like if he's doing really well, then probably the only thing would be is to see if there was something for enrichment. Do you know what math level he's in, or she? I'm sorry.
Let me double check what he's getting. He has Mr. O'Connor?
Miss O'Connor? It's a woman teacher, Miss
Oh,
O'Connor?
I'm sorry. Yes, it is Miss.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
Miss O'Connor.
Nice.
Sorry.
Okay. I mean, it could be that really the only thing would be to look at, is there something that he could do for enrichment in the summer, which is just to earn extra credits. Do you know who his counselor is?
I don't know. No, I'm sorry. I don't know.
That's okay. Who's your child?
Josue Bram?
Charge I still on?
Yeah, I am his counselor. So I would suggest that you contact me, or actually we can stay on. I can probably go to a breakout room with you and we can talk about that.
Sure, sounds nice. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And I'll stay on the main line if other people have questions. Are there other questions?